Hi guys, we are wrapping this up quickly here, I feel like. All right, so this chapter is a bit complicated. If you remember from last section, we were talking about chemical bonds in general, okay, and why elements bond, okay? And if you remember, they bond because they need to fill their outer shell to become more stable, okay? So this section talks about one of the ways they can bond. There's actually three. This one is called ionic. The next section covers covalent. And the last kind of bond, which we're not going to really talk about, is called a metallic bond. And that's just kind of what metals do in alloys. Okay. All right. So 18.2 ionic bonds. Okay. So an ionic bond is a bond that fills outer shells by gaining or losing electrons. And as usual, you see me awesomely spelling things. I love that. Okay. A bond. Let me check that again. It's not a bod, it's a bond. Okay. So, in these bonds, one element kind of acts like a bully and steals electrons from a weaker sort of element. Okay. So they always occur between metals and non-metals. Okay. Generally far apart on the periodic table. Okay. So when you choose a metal from the far left side and you choose a non-metal from the far right side, they are going to form an ionic bond. Okay. The ones on the left-hand side, remember, have one valence electron. So they really want to get rid of that one valence electron. And the ones on the right-hand side are one away. So they have a lot more kind of going for them. So the ones that need one steal it from the ones who have the extra. And it's not really extra, but the one in their valence shell, which makes the one that loses the electron positive because it lost a negative, and the one that gained the electron negative, and that acts like a magnet holding them together, and that's the ionic bond. Okay, so gain or lose electrons. So the metal loses the electron, making it positive again. And the nonmetal gains an electron, making it negative. Okay? Making it. Okay? And then the electricity, the electric force, is what holds them together. Okay? When an ionic bond is formed, we get a compound. Okay? Formed from ionic bonds. Okay? And an example would be salt, like the table salt. In the video, remember how they took sodium and chlorine and they combined it together and they made salt for the popcorn? Again, watch Hunting the Elements. It really makes it better. Okay. Ionic compounds generally only form from a metal and a non-metal. Okay. Also, the further apart they are on the periodic table, the more ionic the bond. Okay. Far apart on the periodic table. Okay. One of the qualities of an ionic compound is that it generally forms a crystal. Okay. So this is a hard solid. Okay. With a high melting point. And again, salt is a perfect example of a crystal. Okay. The bonds are pretty strong and they are held together by electric forces. Okay. The positive and negative forces hold them together. Okay, and I'm going to write in here positive, negative charges. Okay. Generally, if I took an ionic compound, it would shatter if I hit it with a hammer, okay, because it breaks along those bonds. Another quality of an ionic bond is that they have high boiling and melting points, okay? So one of the classic labs that you usually do in chemistry is to identify an unknown. So you'll get some substance that you don't know what it is, and it's your job to figure out what it is. One of the ways that you can do that is by taking its melting point and its boiling point. And if it's, if they're high, meaning, a couple hundred degrees, then they're considered an ionic bond. So then you can eliminate all of the things that are in this universe that do not have ionic bonds in them, okay? Okay, so let me write that there. It's a quality of an ionic compound, okay? Yes, I know I didn't spell quality right, but don't worry, Google's got me. Yes, I didn't spell compound right either. Okay, so if I take an ionic compound and I drop it into water, it will conduct electricity. That's another quality, okay? So ionic bonds are really, really important in our world. There's a lot of things that have ionic bonds, okay? And it's one way that things can fill that valence shell, okay, and become more stable. All right, so your book, 18.2, those are the questions you're responsible for. All right, I highly recommend checking out the book, and please use the notes when you answer the questions. Have a good day.